Join me now, automotive industry expert Glenn Lundy, to talk about the potential impact. So if it's tonight or if it's a month from now, automakers have to prepare, and so does the American public. So talk about the supply chain. Is it true that a single part, a component for a car, can cross over the border 5 or 6 times before it's installed in the car, and each time ensues a tax?
Yes, absolutely, Marni. It's crazy. These parts will go through different component or different places in North America, anywhere from 4 to 6 times per part. And so it's kind of up in the air right now what that's going to look like. Is it going to be a 25% tariff like one time, or is it going to hit all 6 times that it goes across the border, which could increase the cost on that part upwards of obviously 150%.
So we don't know the timing of all of this, but what are automakers doing in anticipation? I mean, because these tariffs and the threat of the tariffs have been on the table for a while, Trump now delivering on that promise.
Well, some of them are shaking in their boots a little bit, Marni, I will say that. But the auto industry has always been incredibly resilient. There's a lot of things that we cannot control over on the new car side. The great news is, and a lot of people don't talk about this, when we see an increase in cost on the new car side, which these tariffs, the way they're talking about it, it could reduce consumer purchasing by about 1.1 million new vehicles. So when that happens, though, we do see an uptick in the used car market. So the used car market tends to trend back up. Customers' vehicles are actually worth a little bit more because the new vehicles are priced higher. And so as a dealer, it's really important that we get our used car strategy down while they try to figure out exactly what's happening with all these manufacturers.
Now, that's a silver lining I hadn't thought about. So, Glenn, we like that. Is there a chance that some of these automakers could shut down some of their assembly lines as this tariff issue works itself out?
Yeah, we're already seeing that, like with General Motors, they're talking about alternative methods, bringing the assembly process into the United States, which is ultimately what Trump is kind of pushing for, right? Let's do these things in-house and support American workers. But I think on the other side of that, what people don't realize is most of these manufacturing or these assembly plants that are in Mexico, in Canada, are actually staffed with American workers. So there's a lot of jobs that could be lost over on that side when we pull that stuff here into the United States. But we are seeing the manufacturers considering some alternative options, either bringing it here to the U.S. and doing it here, or also going to some other countries that don't have such high tariffs.
In order to build these cars, give us a sense, Glenn, percentage-wise, how much is imported from Mexico and Canada when it comes to the auto industry?
Yeah, so when it comes to building these things, we're looking at 60 to 70% of these automotive vehicles, the parts, so on and so forth, are coming outside of the United States of America. And Canada and Mexico specifically, those two places, we bring more in from those two countries than we do the rest of the countries around the world combined. So Mexico and Canada are significant when it comes to the value of our vehicles and the ability to put them together.
I guess the question then you've got to ask is, why aren't more of these parts made in the U.S., and does this open the door, and time will tell, for that to happen?
Yeah, again, I think ultimately that's the hope. I think that's why they're kind of pushing that direction. There's a lot of pieces, though. There's benefits to having a global network. When we look at these parts, it also affects other industries like the aluminum industry, or it affects an industry like the steel industry and all the workers that are connected to that. So it's a huge web of how we put these things together. And so having a global network, massive benefits. Pushing it into just the United States, obviously it could benefit our country as far as economically, but I think it'll slow down supply chain. It'll slow down our ability to get these things put together quickly. It really could slow things down quite a bit when it comes to the impact on the consumer.